our collective teacher. So I'm excited about that. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah, so it's exciting time. I had a good conversation with some people that just to finalize everything perfectly so that all the numbers are making sense. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. How many people are there now
What do you mean?
in working with you?
Oh, there's a lot, but the team has been, there's between the board of advisors and board of directors is it's over 15 now. But the team, like the main core team is 8.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
But this has been an
Yeah,
ongoing process.
yeah. That's why you need the funds, right? It's expensive to have big team.
Well, I have to take care of the team.
Yeah, of
Hi,
course.
Anita. Hi, Mart. Hey, Sagitas.
Hey, how are you
Hey
doing,
everyone,
guys?
good. I'm doing good. I'm just gonna be driving, so I'm gonna take off the video and I'm gonna be more listening, so everybody knows doing good.
Yeah. Hi,
Are you
Mart.
gonna
How are
be
you?
I'm doing
Sagitas?
fine.
Are you gonna be present at our next call as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
Yeah,
Drive safe.
for sure, for sure.
Hello, Tennessee. Hi.
Hi. I'm just finishing my dinner, so that's how I keep the camera off for a bit.
Yeah, well, me too. I'm finishing dinner and then I'll put the camera back on.
Everyone's eating. I love it.
It's
Enjoy.
dinner
It's
time.
it's 5:30 here, so
Yeah, it makes sense. So, Mart, how are you, brother?
I'm doing well.
Weekend is good. I think today is American. No, it's is it? No, it's not Thanksgiving yet. Is it?
No, I don't think it is.
No.
Thanksgiving is Christmas, right?
No, Thanksgiving
November.
is November here, but it's also October, I believe, in the US.
You have Thanksgiving in Europe? We don't do that.
Yeah.
Ah,
How's time
We
without
don't give
Gina?
thanks to anybody in Europe.
no, we're not that grateful. We need to work on that.
Sorry.
So how has things been with Gina not being present?
I just work. It's like my sleep is really good because I go to bed at 9 and wake up when I wake up, so it's very nice.
Mm.
And my routines are great, but I miss her a lot. But I still
Mm.
have company. This is Quincy.
Quincy.
He goes to work with me every day.
I love it.
He takes care of the customers. It's so fun actually. Everybody loves him. But she'll be home next week. It's gonna be fun.
Mm.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, JJ. So maybe
I'm
Jacob, you want to share a little bit of insight on what you shared in the group about everybody kind of paying their own way to get into that because it's really valuable. I think it would be really valuable to hear your insight so that when people watch back the recording, they see the value of actually paying for it as well and then doing it themselves versus kind of splitting it. Because I think there's a lot of value in your comment.
Yeah, so sure. I really believe this goes with everything. So if you're not paying for it, you won't really pay attention.
Yeah.
But how that works is like if you do a course, and especially like things like this, is if you're not the one paying, you don't see the value in it because it's free or it's really cheap. So it's actually, the more you pay for something, the better results you will have, because you paid so much. It really hurts. Like you took a financial hit, and then you see, I need to get this to work, so it's not just a loss, right? That's why I think it's really important to not split it, and you will also get better results because you can join the accountability call. You can do. I would I would really recommend to go for the value instead of the price, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
That's
great
good.
value for that price.
Beautifully put. And what's the difference between value and price for you, just so that everybody understands that? Because I think that's
Yeah,
an important distinction.
yeah. So value is what you get, and price is what you pay. And I mean, you can just calculate it. If the course helps you make like $500 more each month, it's a 5-to-1 return.
Well, I will give you a different perspective because I've been one to pay very expensive courses and not finish them. Like proper qualification courses. Even university, I've paid for a year and I couldn't attend. So it really depends on the content and if it aligns with me. I know most people think like that, Jacob, especially maybe men. But for example, for me, I literally sent this message to somebody I was talking to about half an hour ago about something else, but the same level, when we were talking about free stuff and paid stuff and how people not we usually value when things are free or very cheap. And I was saying to her, for me personally, when somebody offers, like Eric offers us that access for free to the program, right? For me, I'm so
I bet.
grateful.
But do you know how little people took advantage of that? Right?
Well,
Like,
I
so,
registered straight away.
right?
So
Or even this group, how little people are joining this group from 150 people join these calls, not actually stepping into because they're not paying for it. And I do this because to me this is important. This is happening for me. But what I'm noticing, regularly, it doesn't matter how, and I've been giving stuff away for free for a very long time. So it's also the level of seriousness in terms of seeing the people execute. And so this is something, even on these calls, like a lot of the content that can be provided inside of Tony, we can talk about and integrate, but people don't choose to see that value, right? So they need to, it's almost like they need to take an action, right? And maybe, it sounds like to me, Tennessee, like you're a caveat to that whole outcome, which is great,
yeah, well, because
right?
for me, I see like this, right? You give me something that you worked for. You took your time and your energy and your resources to build that, to put that together, right? And you are from your heart giving us away, sharing that with me or with the group or whatever, So for me, feel very grateful, and I appreciate even more so, because to pay, anybody could pay. Anybody could go there and pay that course. But the fact that you decided to open that for us, for me, it's, I think it's the respectful thing to reciprocate and to be grateful and to actually follow through, to respect it, your donation even, so that's how I see. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons why I have a hard time of even charging for what I do, because I I am so grateful for what other people also do for me, and I like to pay forward and I like to help people, and it's not about money. So but I understand that most people don't think this way. I do totally fully understand. But the other thing for me is, I was talking to Yanis actually outside here, because I met him in UPW. I invited him to the group, and he was asking me, are you going to join? What's your feedback? And I said to him, well, financially right now, I was putting out there, about the tickets just to see. And then as soon as I did that, I got a call. It was like, a disaster, so, and I was like, okay. So I even have to push the idea of DWD for now and things like that. But it's just financially for me, I can't commit so much right now, right? I mean, I could a little bit, but the thing is, I don't know where my life is going right now. So I don't want to overcommit to things. So if it's less like this and there is this opportunity that I could join and will add value for me, then I'm grateful to have that split option, and I know I will take enough seriousness when I see its value for me as well. So, but at the same time, I'm not rushing because there is the program that Eric gave us. There's our calls every day, and other things I'm doing. So I'm not super rushing. It just would be an additional bonus to help me on my path and just figuring out and have a bit more clarity and being able to also get over my blockage around having to write a bio about myself right now, which is my current block. So that's why. But that's my feedback. Sorry.
I would love to. Do you mind if I share some stuff with you that I'm hearing?
Sure.
So I'm hearing a lot of things that you're saying, like financial disaster. Like these are language patterns that you're manifesting. Financial disaster, I can't afford. You're creating this in your construct of your surrounding because you are deciding unconsciously or consciously, I can hear it, that you're deciding that that's going to be a difficulty versus seeing.
I try to be realistic. That's
hold on, let me finish.
myself.
Hold on, let me finish. Hold on, let me finish, please.
Okay.
So realistic, if you're tapped into the energy of our creator, your human mind is not capable of being aware of the magic that's available to you. So you're realistic. If you don't know what you don't know, you are unable to listen to understanding the magic that's available to you. So by your limitations of creating the language, the focus, and the physiology to the way that you are communicating with yourself inside of your head, you are creating this realistic pattern to your perspective that is creating limitation versus the infinite possibility of what can be created by empowering language and empowering meaning to the way that you choose to create patterns. So you are unconsciously limiting yourself because you believe that to be true.
So how do I change that?
So seeing the...
You're right, by the way, but so how do I change
I know
that?
I'm right.
I
know I'm right. But hold on a second. Let me finish. Let me finish, please. So giving you the experience of recognizing the empowering lesson of everything that you're going through and discovering what is it here that I need to let go of, because it sounds like that you're creating a story because you don't know where your life is going. And that's actually the magic wanting to guide you versus your mind trying to create a limit. And the magic is wanting to say, hey, I want you to trust. I want you to create. I want you to manifest. And you're saying, I don't know where my life is going. I'm not going to do it. Versus magic, the universe is setting me up for something profound. I'm going to go all in because that's exactly what the universe wants me to create. So seeing the empowering, remember what Tony said, the master of meaning is how we all start to recognize, and the master of empowering meanings is our choice. So we must, if we can't, then we must. And we should stop putting all of these shoulds all over ourselves so that we start to create from this empowering approach. And by integrating a lot of these teachings, it will start to help you manifest with more knowing without worrying about what the outside limitations from the mind perspective, but instead focusing on the trust of the heart's wisdom.
Okay, I understand. You're right. And I know you're right. But what I mean, it's like, okay, so when you are faced with like, you know, I have been working on trust and surrender, and a lot of it even this weekend. And I'm still having this blockage, I think. You know, I know that the money energy, it's around the masculine, and I'm working at that's the reason why it's working on healing that, which funny enough. But you know, not but and I just want to understand, like, for new guys who've been maybe mastering this better, you know, because I understand this is a blockage for me. I've just been navigating this for the last 3 months, since I quit the job and I've been on garden leave. So and everything in my life just crumbled. Like, you know, that's what happened my whole life. My whole life as it was just came to an end, basically. And then now it's starting all new.
So maybe
And
in the past, right? Like recognizing that that's the language in the past, that's how it's not now, right? Like it sounds to me like you're still playing that record in your head, right? So what about utilizing very conscious language that this is the way it was in the past? Right? Because then you have the opportunity to change that story. And then as we know, change our story, change our life.
Okay.
Because you
I'm
mentioned earlier, that you have difficulty charging for things, right?
When it's for me.
Yeah.
If I'm selling any of your business, I would sell really, really well. But I was a, you know, top salesperson. But when it comes to me, you know, charging, then that's like, you know, as I said, I just, because it's not about the money for me, then that's, you know, like the difficulty. But you know, and yeah, you know, I feel like, you know, just right now I'm having to break that, you know, mode, and then
So
just break through. But you know, and
who can you partner with to get yourself where you can serve and support them by helping them with an aligned program that you can sell? And then as a result, get that that muscle built. And in the meantime, create an income for yourself.
I don't know.
Well, I think there's a better question than that, than that response.
I'll
Right?
open
Like,
myself to if if somebody wants to partner. Definitely, it helped me build my, as you said, the muscle, and just get.
Look, you remember like the last night we saw each other. I'm more than happy to help you with the marketing and get leads
boom.
through the door. I told you
I
that,
think
don't you remember?
I know, but sometimes we say things, you know, and then
No,
we're busy in our
in the
lives.
past.
When we go back,
Yeah, in the past.
I didn't want to put it in the spot, you know. So.
But hold on a second. You see, the thing is right now, somebody offered you guidance, wisdom,
He did.
and
Him
support.
and Gina.
And so because you are not holding yourself to an outstanding standard, you don't trust to hold him to that. So you don't have the confidence yet because you're not doing it within yourself yet. So instead of saying, "Hey, what what am I doing better now so that I can communicate with Jacob to get him to follow through on what has he said, because you're not paying attention yet enough to the language patterns because you don't believe in your own language and the power of your own language. So oftentimes when we don't trust ourselves, it's difficult to trust other people. This is why so many of the teachers that have walked this planet before us say, trust thyself. And then as a result, you start seeing that trust in other people around you, and you can hold them to those standards as well because you're holding yourself to those standards.
Yes, you're right. And in fairness, I do have to say, Giannis helped me with my CV. So I did reach out to some help already. So not that bad. But yes, Jacob, I will reach out to you after.
I'm more than happy to help, and I really agree with what Eric is saying, because I noticed this in myself last year when I did UPW. Like, why we don't move forward is really the limited beliefs we have, right? And maybe that's a part of why you ask for help with the CV, because your beliefs allows yourself to get a job. But it's a bigger step to start a business.
Yep.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, like I do know that last week I was processing that information and with myself. I think because I watched my parents had their own business, their whole life, but they always built and then they lost everything and then rebuilt and then lost everything. And it was this roller coaster, all my life, seeing them, like, until I moved to Europe, seeing them on this roller coaster. And I feel like maybe I created this blockage that I actually had this pattern, by the way, even working. I built and was very successful and lost everything and, rebuilt and things like that. So I feel like maybe perhaps that's my fear, like of working, build and not be good enough, not manage to succeed, or build but then lose everything again and self-sabotage somehow and do that. Maybe it's my unconscious blockage is this,
So I have a question. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
I don't mind.
What's the empowering meaning that you can take away from watching your parents build and lose everything, build and lose everything, build and lose everything? What's the empowering meaning?
For me, it was always amazing how they were able to always rebuild themselves, especially because they had no education at all, So my mom stopped school when she was 7 years old, so she barely knew how to read and write. And yeah, she's actually really, really amazing at business.
Wow.
And so yeah, and my father as well for the longest time. So yes, I always seen that, but then I also took the part of going down.
So hold on a second. So hold on a second.
Which is the problem.
Wait, does everyone see what just happened? Does everyone see what just happened? We literally just allowed her to identify and understand an empowering meaning, and her mind literally right now just put it into an she chose that.
That's just how it always happened. That's how my brain goes.
But hold on a second. Do you see how you're allowing you're not standing guard at the door of your mind? You're choosing to tap into the unconscious behavior of your mind. Literally.
I couldn't help, but there you go. Now you see the problem.
There's a lack of discernment. There's a lack of discipline. there's a lack of discovery, right? So if you're choosing consciously right now and like bringing joy into that conversation about not discerning, this is something that gives you comfort, is going to that place of suffering and then finding joy there. That's not what you want to be doing. Instead of seeing the resilience of your parents, seeing the power of their consistency, seeing the magic of the empowering side of it, and then choosing joy from that. That is what really creates an empowering, conscious meaning to move forward with true discipline, true discernment. And then allowing yourself to see that in yourself so that you can actually operate from that. That is principle. That is power. Big shift.
Yes. Yes. I will look at the empowering. I always did. It's just, yeah, I think, yeah. But I see now clearly what I've been doing to myself.
One thing that I want to encourage us all to remember is life is an altar and each moment is a prayer. Do not waste a moment on something that is disempowering. Why? What for? You want to focus on imagination undirected? That's going to create more fear in your nervous system. Or do you want to focus on imagination directed, where there's faith and consistency and congruence in the way you get to decide to move forward? This is what's going to change our state, change our meaning, and essentially change our life forever. And by the way, thank you for your vulnerability. You're such a beautiful soul to be able to allow us to highlight you right now, and then as a result being into this, because this is fucking courage, by the way. This is not easy, being challenged in this way.
Yeah,
Not
I
easy.
totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And that's really the value of this group is like, yeah, we keep ourselves conscious.
Yeah, thank you. And well, it's good that I feel like a safe place to do that. So
Good.
thank you.
Thank
you for
you.
for this. I needed this. So thank you.
You're amazing, and you have so much wisdom, Tennessee, right? And remember, if you saw that in your parents, the empowering meaning, that means you have that. You can't see what you don't have. You just can't. You can't see it. So if we choose to see the goodness, that is if we have the ability to see the goodness in it all, then that means that we have that inside of ourselves. And as a result, we have to follow that feeling. And that feeling is that decision that will change our destiny.
Yeah. And I wanted to tell you guys, after the call yesterday, I just felt like a completion of working on the healing the wounds around the masculine, and especially around my father abandoning us, and you know, the abuse I suffered when I was a child. So I had to heal all of this. And then today, actually, my father, after a year or so, sent a message for the first time. And he sent it to my brother, which was kind of funny because they were not in speaking terms. But it was about me. and and it was so beautiful because he really was having dreams and picking up everything that was going on with me for the past year, and he didn't know that. And he was saying that in his message, and he was just saying, he said to him, he's like, I know you guys feel like that word you had got this, you know, with me in it, got destroyed. and it doesn't exist anymore, but it actually does. And I'm still your father. I am your father. And I was like, wow, it was the first time hear him saying that. So it was really like I couldn't believe when my brother sent forward the message to me and my sister this morning, and I was like, wow, it's literally, it was just perfect. So and again, you know, it was just through this group and, you know, opening up to even like the healing from Carolina and everything, just allow that to happen. So yeah, so I'm just really grateful, and I just wanted to share with you guys because this is something really major for me, you know, and personally. So
It's very major, and it's also the pattern, right? It's also why we're able to, like, so the pattern that we could have created, or your father has started from the message, has given you the energy to then also speak up today. And as a result, you're working through this, right? So the
yeah,
spirit of our intelligence, our collective intelligence, is able to identify, and as a result, we're able to now work through that pattern because you feel safe. So you
yeah,
see how everything is interconnected. We just got to be able to pay attention to it. It's
yeah,
profound.
yeah.
It's
It was
profound.
just amazing. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I need water now.
Go ahead. Yeah. So nice. I really find that it's so important to just like really be so open on these calls, because I find that the more vulnerable we all get, the more uh, intentional these conversations become, right? Like, yeah, and that's why it's like, you know, people always want to have a structure, and the structure is great. Structure is important, but what really creates leverage is the opportunity to be free, to be open. Because if we create a box, then we are stuck in that box. And so I always cultivate this type of curiosity, because if we're curious about each other, then we start to open up doors of infinite possibility. And it doesn't have to be super, it has to have enough structure to kind of follow a flow, but it doesn't need to be totally structured where we have to be confined. Pablo Picasso said something really beautiful. If you wanna, if you discover and learn the rules like a pro, you can then break them like an artist. And I love this saying. See you, Sigitas. We love you, brother. So I think that this is the biggest great gift. And so I'm super curious, what does it feel like to anybody else in terms of opening up themselves? Like, I know for myself, the discovery of yesterday's experience with Carolina, the healing, it moved us into a really meaningful conversation afterwards with some of my partners, where we really opened up to a real vulnerable space of how we want to operate on a global standard. And it gave so much camaraderie, you know, and movement, where in before that meeting, I was kind of like in this place of like, oh, are we aligned or are we not aligned, kind of stuck in my head as well. And from that place of really tapping into the collective intelligence, I realized, hold on a second, I'm not doing this for myself. It's interesting, when we stop thinking of just ourselves, our power comes through, right? Our power comes through because we don't make it about, when we make it about ourselves, we stop and block the power of our infinite wisdom that comes through our heart. And if we make it about what the meaning we give it, and the empowering meaning, then it becomes easy. Any insights?
I think the
Well,
guys should
yes.
talk. They're really quiet. Good.
I can talk. Hey, everyone. Um, well, I had the same idea like 1 hour ago. My body is so tired right now, and I'm just super exhausted, like, from my body. Um, so I wasn't doing anything more or less, and then I was getting in my head, and then all of a sudden I got this thing, like, what is it about? And I was just thinking about me and myself, and then I thought, okay, no, it's not about me. It's about I have to think about something bigger than me right now. So I get back to my power, back to my state and everything. And it really worked. So like it got me moving again, got me to, momentum. And this is so beautiful. And actually I just got out and said, like, I'm not going to go back home before I get in a beautiful state. Um, or like a 10 out of 10, I said. Um, yes. But what I noticed, Tennessee, when you were talking before and you were talking about your parents, then all of a sudden you were not like this, like before. Then you were like that, and you were happy, you were smiling, like your whole posture and like your gesture totally changed. And while you were talking, Eric, I thought, okay, she's not maybe like it's not getting really through because the physiology first, she was totally in this. And then, but then she shifted, and then I think she got it, or like she felt it more or less, or integrated in your body, or you, which was so beautiful to see, really. I mean, you had your tears in your eyes. So thank you for opening up. I mean, it's also like a place where healing is happening. And for me, I find it very easy to open up, but I need somebody to question, like somebody has to ask me something so I can tell. Otherwise, I will not open up for myself. Um, and this is the projector in me. Uh, yeah. So this is my part of the story.
So I'm curious. I'm
Thanks,
curious
Alex.
based off. Yeah, brother. I'm curious based off of that. What is it? What do you have to share? Is there anything that you want to share about that's on your heart right now?
Um, I felt lonely today. I mean, I live in Munich and I have friends all over the world, but not here. And I live like right next to the Oktoberfest. I mean, where I was grown up or was born, I have a lot of friends. But I just asked so many people, "Hey, you want to come?" And everybody's saying like, it's during the week and so on and on and on. And it felt a little bit like, not that nice. So yeah, this is wild.
So are you permanently in Munich?
Well, right now it's still 2 more weeks almost, and then, well, I go to Portugal and then let's see, because I have to move out here.
And
Alex, come over to Frankfurt and visit. You can stay in my spare room.
Boom. Look what just happened. Now you get to make a decision. Do you see what just happened? You just have an opportunity now to go and manifest meaning and create something, maybe together, or maybe by communicating or being somewhere where you feel safe, supported. And you don't have to be by yourself in Munich. You can go to Frankfurt, stay with Tennessee for 2 weeks, build something, create something together, maybe, again. Maybe Jacob can give some insight where you guys can all jump on a call together. And as a result, capture some leads, create some opportunities, and we can further make things happen. And you don't need to be there alone.
I see. Yes, you're right. But actually, I find it's very easy to find opportunities for myself, but I don't take any of them. They're coming, I just stay next to them and just watch.
Well, now
like
we're holding you accountable, so no more bullshit.
No more bullshit, right?
So Alex, can I give the feedback? Because I was helping Alex last week.
Yes.
So I mean, happy to continue work, helping you. It helps me as well, figure out like the journey patterns of the people I help. But it's very interesting, Alex. You're saying that you're very easy to open up. You do, and then what do you do?
I shut down.
In the middle of it, right?
Yes, in the middle of it.
Yeah, so just as helping Alex bring in his awareness to the fact that that's what he does and his pattern. Because on the session, he gave me a little bit of work to do to bring him back.
Yeah, and I think that this is
So it
why
was great learning for me as well. So
I think this is why maybe this is happening right now is even right now there's an opportunity, Alex, where you can go and spend time for 2 weeks before you go to Portugal and Frankfurt and not be lonely. And then as that decision comes to life, you're saying, "Oh, do I decide to make action?" The story became in that same moment, am I going to take action? Versus just saying, "Yeah, let's do it."
Yes.
I feel very lonely here in Frankfurt too, by the way. I have no friends anymore here, so my friends are online. I feel like, once you start moving yourself and develop, and then you start working and you just change your vibration, then some people naturally move away from your life, like naturally. And it's not that you're not friends anymore. You just, your energy, your thought processes, your point of view in life, you're just in different stage in life. And if you feel like the person is just really stuck in their old ways, not wanting to progress themselves, you just feel like, well, I have to step back to be near this person. Then you don't naturally, you just move on. And I feel it's a natural process to happen. So that's happened to me recent, and I'm actually okay with it, because I rather have, for example, the community here that we're more aligned and we're growing together. And we actually purposely meeting, like, it's purposeful, right? Then waste my time with things that it's not really my vibe anymore. So anyway, but yes, you're always welcome. Any of you guys want to come to Frankfurt, you're always welcome to stay here. And it's a small apartment, but we can always find space. That's always welcome for friends.
Wow. It's so amazing. There are like six birds also coming right now next to me here, where I'm here. Yeah, I'm actually in Frankfurt this weekend. So I'm on a seminar, but I will find some time to meet you if you want to.
Did you see that he was going to come to Frankfurt and not tell me and not coming to me? Let's just observe that for a minute. Yeah.
You don't need to find the time. You just need to create it, brother.
Yeah.
Right? Listen, I sent a message. We chat separate, and I'll let you know. I'm mostly available at the moment. So. Even if I have to bring Olivia, you get to meet her too. So
It's lovely.
It's interesting how the universe gives us exactly what we want, and then our mind tries to take the story of like, wow, I actually just received exactly what I wanted.
And then
now that it's here, what the fuck do I do?
Yes.
In that, Jeff, I'll continue the story then. Because in the last week or so, I have come to see a certain pattern of myself. This being a pattern I wish to I wish to change. That has mostly to do with I have the time. I know I have the time. I know I have things that I want to do. End up doing nothing, and I already have the realization from that I want to do something, and that I should. There's something. I currently lack the best way for me to go over that next step from realization, recognition, realization to then changing it. Breaking the pattern and replacing it with something higher value?
One thing worked for me is like using the switch technique. It's like NLP. Have you tried it? So like it's when you imagine the activity you don't want to do, and then you minimize it, the picture of it, and then you bring in the activity that you want to change it with. I mean,
Can
it
you
could be
explain
worth.
some more? I don't understand.
Yeah, so we did it at the UPW in the UK. So what you want to do is you close your eyes and you want to visualize the activity that you want to stop doing. For me, it was like snooze and lay in bed. And you want to take this picture and make it smaller and make it black and white and want to throw it out. And then you enlarge in the other behavior you want this, for example, go out of bed and do something. So then you want to enlarge this picture in your head and make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And you want to swap between these two when you throw one away and minimize it and enlarge the other picture. And you do this like maybe 5 times a day for like five repetitions times 5. And actually it helped me a lot. And this works with everything. One other method I really like is also like, I think it's Bob Proctor talks about it, when you just say it out loud over and over again, you will start to believe it. And it's when you really believe you can do it, you will start to take action.
This is also a form of incantations, and you can use your physiology when you're running down, a beach or whatever the case is, if you use any of the incantation, now I am a voice, now I'm the voice, or things like this, and you use your whole body, or you express yourself, and then you move your body with it. It's like when Tony talks about, hey, put it into your body, feel it, move it, express with it. It changes your physiology, and it anchors into your body the way you start to own the new version of who you are.
Yeah, because he explains in the difference between affirmation and incantations is when you actually feel it, right? So once you feel it inside your body and you feel with your soul, then it becomes more reality rather than affirmation.
who you
You can
are.
be just saying, yeah, it becomes who you are. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's going purely from having the theoretical knowledge to the applying stage.
Right. So there's three.
Joseph calls this the thieves of your dreams. Actually, that's what he calls. So when you study neuroencoding, Joseph McCandle, this is one of the things that he taught us, and it's actually very interesting, is to understand the thieves of your dreams, like procrastination, imposter syndrome, fear of success, fear, all those things, and then understand where's the backup of it, and then we do an exercise where you question your beliefs as well, and then just changing it to more positive ones. It's all about, as you're saying, Eric, the language, and so I actually done a summit. I've done one of these actually in a summit. I can send the recording for you guys. But so basically, we do this exercise in the end, and then after we have to do it exactly like that, the incantations, like you have to say it out loud, the new positive way of saying the same thing, and then you just have to feel it and enjoy it. So just to create the new patterns in your brain, but like obviously procrastination is a big thing.
So who did the Dickens process? Did everybody do the Dickens process?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when we're going, Jacob, you want to share something? Go ahead.
No, you're saying that he did Dickens, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
just wanted to be. Okay, go
Okay.
ahead. Sorry.
Everything I need is within me now. I can confirm that this works to change the state that you are in, to go for a run and repeat saying everything is in me now. Yes, absolutely. Beautiful incantation. So think about, the levels of mastery that Tony talks about, right? He talks about the cognitive, right? Knowing it, understanding it, right? And then talks about the emotional mastery, the feeling it, and then the physical mastery, which is the third level of being it, right? So the Dickens process and what you're referring to is like all of remember, everything is a pattern, right? So multiple times throughout the event, Tony Holt repeats the same pattern so we can start to utilize those patterns in our lives. So he teaches us the same thing over and over again, actually, in different ways. And then he applies it so that we embody it. And so the Dickens process, actually, if you have done it, which all of you have experienced the cognitive process of learning, listening, paying attention, understanding what he's doing in immersion with him and Joseph and Scott and others, right? And then we create that feeling within our bodies. We anchor, we make our move, we are able to really understand that it's something that's within our body. And so we start to create this emotional connection to feeling what it would feel like to get to the next stage in our lives. And then we get leverage. So that leverage, remember what Tony says, is to gain enough leverage either from pain or pleasure. So we actually discover that pain in the Dickens process by feeling it, and people are screaming, yelling in such pain in their bodies, right? And then all of a sudden he says, how would it look like to look like into your new body? And you're just like, boom. And all of a sudden you shift and you become it and you step into that knowing. And as a result, you can anchor that into your body over and over and over again. And you make your move and you make your move and you make your move. And then you become this physical embodiment of what you've always seen, known, and behaved within your cognitive understanding, your emotional understanding, and your physical being. And now you're completely aligned. And of course, you get tested because the world is your mirror, right? So the world mirrors back to you exactly how you want to choose from the inside. And if you create this level of certainty from internal behavior, from the physical embodiment, you now walk into rooms and you say, like Tony says, when I go, it means go. I'm not waiting. What's his favorite word? Now. Right? So this becomes who you become, right? And so as a result, it starts to actually create complete alignment. So this is a way that Dickens process, you can come back to it and really create those incantations, those feelings, those knowing, those expressions. And honestly, the more that you move it in your body and you like own it with every might of your being, it just, you start walking into rooms and when you speak, people are listening because they know that you're coming from a place of total precision and consciousness. You're being very precise about everything that's coming out of your mouth. You're being precise about what word, what language, what pattern, what body type. You're paying attention to the eyes, the focus, the language. You're really listening, which is also the best part, the listening.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, you were describing exactly how I feel since I came back home, that it's anchored in my body. So I was listening to you, Tennessee, that you were actually, when you talked about not being able to sell yourself, it was like I was listening to myself before I went to UPW, because you think you're not worth it, and you think others are worth it. And
In the past,
that
she
was
thought
my
that. In the past, she thought that. Not anymore. In the past. Yeah.
that also was my limiting belief. And during the Dickens process, now it's anchored in my body, and I'm like, how could I have ever thought that I wasn't good enough? So you should really believe in yourself, because you're good enough for everything that the universe has to offer, and you have to offer the world.
Amen.
So it was a really nice description, Eric, because that was exactly what I felt and how I feel now.
And it's only by then you can really receive, right? Because
Yes,
otherwise it's really hard to receive.
true. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Yeah, and you're right. I think the one thing I was working on Dickens was about being worth. But a deep hurt within me about being worth is, I guess, the fact, like that my father basically abandoned us, right? And I was very close to him. So the way he did, the way the whole thing happened, because it just really impacted me. The problem wasn't he leaving, it's just how the whole thing happened, and after he ignored that we existed. So I feel like that really, and then also there's another side that my mom's always had this language of telling me how I wasn't good enough. So in many different ways. So I had to grow up listening to that, and I had to grow up experiencing situations that showed to me that I wasn't good enough. And that's why I've been on this healing journey, and a lot of it has been, but I worked so much on healing my mom's side, the feminine side, and and then, as I said, this since UPW, and then obviously started ignited, but then this weekend was crystal clear. I needed to heal all the wounds with the masculine, and the abandonment, and the abuse, everything that happened on the masculine, all that. So I can really feel I'm worth it. In general, to receive, to have money, to succeed, to to have somebody who is aligned to me, as a loving partner, to believe that I deserve to be happy in that way. So there's a lot, all everything that needed healing on the masculine that's aligned with that energy. I can feel like now it's really shifting. And even this call tonight, it's part of it, and what Eric and you guys showing up, and look, all the masculine guys helping me, or how beautiful is that? And I'm receiving it. I'll accept it with my heart. And I was processing earlier how Alex was saying I shifted. I was listening, I was just processing. And then once it processed, that's when really, changed. So I'm really grateful for you guys. Thank you so much, honestly. And thanks, Elenita, for your comment.
You're absolutely welcome.
And I really think
good
you're in a
to
great position to really start something, because you don't know many people in the city you live, and you got time, right? So now you dealt with these beliefs, and now you can really focus, because where focus goes, energy flows. And really use the help. I think you will do a massive year.
So one of the wisdoms that I love about this group, and the way that I even just cultivate my own life, is that it's not about the knowledge, it's about the application of the knowledge, right? And so I don't believe any of us are here better or worse than anyone else. I believe that we're all in harmony, because if we believe in that essence within our hearts, then we believe in something greater than ourselves. So it's super important to pay attention to our stories, because every opinion that we share about ourselves is actually a confession to the way that we see ourselves. So anything that we share externally through our lips is a confession of our own map of the world and our own beliefs about ourselves. And the more that we become congruent with our highest nature, the more we can start speaking into empowering discoveries of all the stories, whether past, present, or future. And so it's a devotion to do that. It's a responsibility, meaning an ability to respond, not a reaction state. Because every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So there's a level of physics there that actually energetically approaches us back if we choose. So seeing the empowering meaning in everything that you have done up until now is what's going to help you see the woman that you've become or the man that you've become in this present moment. That is the power. Because if you die today, and if you died, or if you get hit by a car tomorrow, what are you leaving behind? What is the last moment people are going to remember you by in the way that you choose to leave that opinion or confession or expression of yourself? So it's in the behavior, it's in the devotion, it's in the actions, and it's not in what we say. It's about what we do. Because everybody can stand on a stage and talk about it. But what do we feel about it? Why do we feel so connected to Tony? Because he's done it. He's done it, right? He's gone out there and used the real world as the real stage to really implement it. He's not just standing on stage preaching. He's implemented this into his every single day rhythm. And that's what makes him a master.
Yeah, because leaders lead by example.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I'm also thinking when I'm like tired or not really not really in peak state, I'm thinking, well, if he can do it, then I will probably also can do it. So I'm like, okay, we can go on.
Yep.
It was good to listen to this because I didn't remember about procrastinating. I would like what Mart said. I also have that sometimes, and I forgot the exercise about making it small and throwing it away. So that's a very good exercise to do. It's going to help me. Yeah. So are you going to try it, Mart?
I'm gonna do it.
Haha, yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Mart, are you okay? Because you look like you're in pain there. Sorry for a second.
I am in pain. I apparently pulled a muscle or something in my arm, and it's currently hurting like hell. But it's not a problem. It's gonna be fine. It's only a temporary thing.
So what you can do is just try to remember what was the moment that started doing that, and then what we were talking about, and then just connect with it, after the call, and you just really connect with your body and try to see. So just to give an idea, the left is the left side, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the left side is connected with our feminine and energy, but usually the mother's energy, right? So try to see what your body's trying to show to you, bringing that pain and the awareness to it. And if it's the good thing is say thank you to it, because if it's hurting there, it means it's bringing your attention, is ready to be released. So you afterwards, just wait in your own time, connect with it, listen to it, and say, what are you showing to me? What is this pain here? Is this muscle that's trying to stop me, or whatever it is? And then after you just say thank you for it. And when you're ready to integrate, and you just imagine it melting away, like going off your hand and going to earth and being released. And it should help. But it's very important that you try to remember, because it wasn't always there, but it started at some point. So try to remember when it really started. And what was it that we were talking about, and the emotions that start triggering you. So it just, you start making such a really painful faces there, and I had to say something, sorry.
Well, thank you, Marta. I'm never going to say the word try again.
Well, probably you will. It's in order to say a very famous phrase. There's no try, there is do. In such a context, but with talking about this and listening to what the others have to say, it's listening to the advice you give yourself sometimes is hard. It's something to develop. Giving advice to others, oh yeah, that's easy. But that's also why talking with other people that are working on themselves, and in every story it might not be fully applicable towards you, but you can look and see what is the lesson in each story, or and what is the value that I can gain from it as well, from all the little bits that everybody is sharing. And one of the things I found very profound was rewatching like a couple days ago, I Am Not Your Guru, and then seeing if how much more patterns and things you can see and realize in the rewatch for the X time or something, and like with my current knowledge, understanding in the way I am acting myself, I can now see so many more different things from it, and the depth of knowledge you can see in yourself and others, immeasurable, or as Eric likes to call it, it's an infinite sea of knowledge.
I think Eric is
true.
rubbing off on all of us a little bit.
I
Well,
just
I have
want
to
to,
leave, so
before you
maybe I'll
go,
see you
Elenita,
tomorrow again. Yeah.
before you go, Elenita, I just want to acknowledge the fact that you're paying attention to the body, and you're able to create that level of description for Mart, because it's super important to listen to that. And my hallucination is, Mart, is that by you hearing what she's saying, it may create even more of that infinite seed of knowledge, and recognizing the patterns that you're wanting to integrate within your own family dynamic.
I see the brain working.
Yeah.
Yes. Absorbing. For me, and these calls are mostly also about more so developing my emotional side of things, above all, because looking in the past, it is mostly dominated by a couple of emotions that took the forefront. A couple of positive ones, couple of negative ones, and I can now also realize and see that there is a whole broader palette to be experienced. But you must let yourself be open to them to experience them as well.
And what I love about you is that you always are, my bro.
The way I see Marty, you
I
have a
am.
huge heart. You have a huge heart. And when you're speaking, there is one phrase that came up. And you do not have to say if it makes sense or anything. I do not know where it came, but it was a question more like, how can I live up to that? Is the question that came. But it's, like I you don't have to answer or whatever. Maybe something will click, make sense for you. But I don't know why this came through for you. And when you're ready, maybe it will make sense. But you do have a huge heart and a very beautiful heart. And the more you share that with the world, the more we'll be lucky to have that. So don't be afraid of shining your own light, I'd say.
Well,
I totally agree.
Yes, and something that Eric also said earlier in this call was about having a meeting, because I last night also had a significant meeting in which some things didn't go as I would have expected them, but some other things were beautiful surprises. That so happened to be one thing that still came through with me a lot is the challenge, or the one of the aspects that were like trying to bring me out of state, bring me down and such. And I have not yet grasped what the lesson for me is from that person being the way they are. I have not yet grasped what I can get out of that and what it means to me.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
How did you feel like it's not about them, first of all, it's about you. So what you're taking there, it's all about you, how you're reacting, how you're feeling, how you're thinking. And then you're like, well, maybe before I learned all of this, I would react in such a way and I would see it in such a negative way and all of this. But then now, oh, actually, I was able to see the magic in this, and see a different perspective and see the possibilities, as Eric is saying, and I let the magic happen, so how, what I would say is, maybe you can say to us, how would you had responded and reacted to it before, and how do you feel you did it different this time, or you will actually take the learnings from it and do it different next time?
I can already see that I handled it with more grace and finesse. It's in particular because this person is very good in making me emote, challenging me on a value that I hold, and in a way I view the world very strongly, and that is focusing more towards the solutions instead of holding on to problem. And I can see that a bit of where my reaction seems to be coming from now, and now also talking it through a bit, is This person is very good at pointing out problems, and my inner reaction comes from a speaking point of, you're talking about all the problems, but if we're looking back for like the last half hour, you haven't done a lot. And it's more so like, you're talking all about problems that exist, but you're not participating in making things go well. A bit from that type of reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that, especially recently, there has been also a shift in this person. And I can see, if I only look at like the last couple of weeks, I must be like, yes, you are acting in a way that I would clap for mostly. It's only like a tiny difference from being like, you're doing great to outstanding. In that sense, like it's only like a small shift, and I would be all over the moon, and I would say you're doing a bloody amazing. Whilst at this point, internally, I still am saying, why are you doing that? That sucks. Even though in big scale things, it's not that big of a difference looking at it as the way they are.
So do you think that the way that the person is only looking at the negative things, so negative, and that's triggering you, do you think that is your problem or the person's problem? You know, the way the person's being with you. Is it your problem or that person's problem?
It is only my problem if I make it one.
So is it yours or is it the person?
Up until recently, I would still say my problem. And looking at it, it's not.
So let me ask you a question. You're saying you're God and you can control people?
No.
Right. So are you sure that was your problem? How they were being with you or reacting, or how they view the word and how they choose to be?
I think looking at it now, I guess it's more of I see in him some of the things I dislike in myself.
Beautiful. Gorgeous.
Yeah. It only triggers when we have something reflecting, right? So just, I think you need to work on understand.
Hold on, Mart. I just want to hear what Mart was about to say.
Sorry.
Please.
Yeah, sorry.
I see in him the things I think that I dislike in myself, whether they're true or not. Based on reality or not, that's not important. I view it as such. So.
Well, I just want to say that you have a profound way of seeing the world, bro. And the questioning tendency that you're asking is super precise. It's so beautiful.
It really triggered him, didn't it?
the fact that you're giving yourself the insight, brother, to take responsibility is what makes you even more responsible in the choices that you get to move forward. Because now that you're recognizing this in yourself now, you'll get to see that in all other experiences in your life, because it becomes a pattern where you're like, okay, what I'm seeing, what I'm observing, what I'm recognizing, this trigger, what can I do better now? What can I do better? What can I do better? Because it's an internal game. It's not an external one. We're told that it is, but it's not.
Yeah. So if it's the same thing when somebody comes to you and you say, look, you're a piece of shit. And you're like, no, I'm not. So it doesn't matter if the person is telling you that. It will only matter if you believe you are inside you, and then you're going to react to that. If you really truly know, no, I'm not. I'm a really good person. I have a good heart. Then it's not going to matter. So it's super important, because you actually answer my second question, because you didn't answer my first question, but you answered the second one, which was leading to it, which was, we can't control anybody. We don't control anybody else outside ourselves. We only control ourselves. So what you did was the right thing. You took responsibility, and you saw straight away what was the problem that was inside you and was reflecting it. So the number one thing you need to understand is you can control that person. You don't know, like, you can control how they behave, that I wish they were more positive or finding more solutions, but you can't do that. You can. If you already know that person is this way, and you're going to find all the problems in the world, that, it's obvious. He's like, I already know all of this. So what can you do to prepare yourself for those meetings that can actually counteract that even before he starts? By the way, here's all the problem and all of them, but let's just focus today on the solutions so we can move forward. And let's not list the obvious. Let's look at solutions, for example, right? And, so you can prepare yourself in a way and be ready and take control. Because when you let yourself be super triggered, he's taking all your power away. That's what he does, When people do this to us and they minimize us, or they hit your ass so much with negative words and thinking, and we're talking here so much about language, right? And what we're focusing on. So when this is like bombarding you and triggering everything inside you, you end up giving all your power away to that person. And he's doing it on purpose, nearly, even if it's subconscious, because that's how these people feel better about themselves. When they put you down, when they take all your energy, and then all of a sudden you're destroyed after the call or the meeting, and the person is amazing. So you need to protect yourself before you go into those meetings with those people that they will trigger you. So prepare for that.
I would just say, even more, instead of protection, just trusting yourself, because it's an even more
ready, right?
Yeah, it's an even more empowering way to just trust, and knowing yourself, know thyself, trust thyself, right? To express, because then you're not needing to protect, because you just are. And this gives you way more power from my perspective, because then it's like, you own it. You own it. You do not worry about what's coming forward. You just are who you are. And if people want to meet you at that depth or that level or that darkness, you can match it in a way, but you choose not to. You choose to actually raise yourself to a different level of standard, right? And so that, to me, is real stoicism, is real power, right? It gives you the ability to know that you can go there, but you don't have to. Because this is true grace. This was profound.
Reflecting and looking back at how I was in that meeting, I would describe it as a bulldozer going forward. Just clearing the path, just putting all that energy and attention into it.
And there's also nothing wrong with that. Just so you know.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with bulldozing per se, but
sometimes it's needed.
Sometimes it is needed, but
you need to take the weed away sometimes.
Well, but in that sense, the meeting with particularly that person was also a very mirror in for my own actions for, like, let's say, the past year, and the leadership position I am in, and coming to the realizations, and it's more like, yes, that those were the shortcomings of the last period in time. you have stated them very correctly, and I agree with you on the assessment of what the issues are. Very much so, and we have attempted to address them in the past previously already, and that at that time it didn't come to a fruitful and beneficial ending. Where I strongly believe that this time it is different. And I can sense that they are not yet convinced and sharing in my belief of that it will happen.
I think it's all about how you present yourself and your energy. Because if you were talking to me, if I was in a difficult meeting like that, the way you did, I wouldn't believe either. I'm being super honest. So if you have really strong characters there and you like, you need, if you're the lead, you need to take the lead. And you preempting all of it before even anybody says anything. And you just try to prepare yourself. Like, prepare, okay, I've seen that these are our shortcomings, these are the issues, that's what we tried to do, it didn't work out, so maybe come up with options of solutions, or like to say the team, look, I know this happened, we tried this, didn't work, do we have options of potential options on what to do next, like what can we try, and let the team also participate and engage, but then you're taking the control, because if you're in the leader position, you need to lead by example and you need to hold the space. Not being aggressive or anything, but you need to hold your power, right? And just really say to them, okay, I got this. You can trust me to lead you, and you gain their trust, by taking that control and by showing you prepared, showing you know what's happening, show you thought about it, and you come in and you preempting any of them. So I think it's really important that sometimes we take that level of assertiveness. Like some people said to me, like, so I'm a very outspoken person, and when I was in a sales environment as a woman, I had to really be. And some manager says, it's hard to manage you because you have said, but if you come ready, I super respect you because I come to the meetings ready, even if I'm not the leader. And that's the expectations your team will have, right? So I'm just saying, not Sarah, but I just feel like find your power, your inner power, be ready, and trust yourself. Trust you know this, trust you got it, trust you can do it. And you're like, yes, I'm the leader. That's my perspective. I feel like you need to embody a bit of Eric. And you're like, this energy. This energy.
You led me to a strain of thoughts that will help me. In the sense that I already know where my strengths lie and such, and I have inventarized where the strengths of the rest of the group lie. And from what I hear from you, what the thing that I need to implement more is more so than the rest of the crew, anticipate even more on what indeed their needs are and how I can make sure that they are met. In the sense of the leading by example case, because looking back, I could have already foreseen some of the questions that they were definitely going to ask, and perhaps have and maybe not all the answers, but one more than they may have thought that I would have at the moment.
You guys, this is profound, and I love what you're sharing. I think that it's time. I have to go to another meeting right now, but you are on a beautiful path, brother. It's amazing to watch your thoughts and observe them and listen to them. And I agree. I think Tennessee has lots of wisdom that she has already shared with you. So thank you, Tennessee, for being such an amazing leader. And I really appreciate it.
Thanks for the help.
It's amazing. Yeah, seriously, it's amazing to observe. And you immediately stepped into it. By the way, right? We talked about it half an hour ago, and you immediately stepped into it. Action. I love it. I love you both. Okay. And let's keep making magic happen. See you tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you.